Ready? College football is now B1G versus SEC.
Down! Hood!
If you ain't listening to All Right Bet with me and Andy St. Clair, you're throwing away money.
Ready?
All Lions fans drinking that Kool-Aid. Super Bowl. Hey, disagree with me or don't. That's how it works. That's how it works every week. Andy St. Clair is in the house again. It's Big 6 Picks. It's week 10, guys. We're rolling along, Andy, rolling.
It's good. You know, I'm already starting to get sad. I feel like football season's almost over. We got like 2 months left. I'm getting sad already.
It flies by, man. It flies by. You know what I mean? Like it's right after Christmas. We got a couple weeks of playoffs, and that's it.
It's then I gotta turn my attention to the NBA, which I'm dabbling a little bit here and there.
Dabbling. It's kind of bittersweet when it gets to be like Christmas time, and like my wife loves all the lights and the Christmas stuff, and I like it too. You drive around and look at them, but it's just a reminder football's almost over.
Favorite time of the year probably is Christmas. This is probably my kind of my mid-October to December 27th is like I think it's a sweet spot on the calendar.
Yeah.
Great sports. Sure. You got probably the top 3 holidays just in whatever order, just right there for you. So
rolling in. You got the Pistons whipping up on the Lakers the other night. I love it. But anyways.
I like the Pistons this year. I think they're going to play hard.
They're looking all right. They were getting beat pretty steady, but they're turning a corner.
I hope they're smart about it and get in the Cooper Flag lottery, but I think they're good.
Yeah, I think they made a bunch of moves. I think this roster's too good for that right now.
Just get in the lottery. But we'll see in March when you're like, oh, look, Cade's out for 4 weeks. What Cade's got an illness?
You could be onto something there. But here's something I will guarantee you. It doesn't matter if we have the most balls in the lottery bag. The NBA hates the Pistons. We will never, ever get the number 1 pick, ever. I'll tell you that right now.
Well,
that's a fact.
You may want to try. You may want to smooth it over with the NBA. This guy's
wasting our time. Joe Dumars is in the front office, man, and we're the worst team in the league for 5 straight years, and we couldn't pick better than 5th or 3rd, man. I'm like, come on, man. Anyway, let's get to we have a gentleman sitting in the green room that is dying to jump in and talk about the holidays and the Pistons and all kind of things, man. Sure. Listen, Andy, this week's guest, friend of the show, making his return to the show. Now, he's a star of movies like Into the Dark, Anamorphia 2, Psycho Storm, we talked about before, is great. But most recently, he's in the horror film Tenants. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But right now, he's going to be coming to us live from the road because he's at the Cincinnati Playhouse in Cincinnati, Ohio, as part of Second City's 65th anniversary tour. Welcome back to the show, my man, Acquah Dansoh. What's up, buddy?
Mikey, so good to see you, Mike. Andy, good to see you again, brother. What a hell of an intro, man. You make me feel like I'm actually somebody. Good grief.
Everybody says that when I intro them on this show, and I'm like, guys, I'm just naming things you've done. I'm not making you sound like anything. I'm just telling you what happened.
What? Who is this guy that's here? And also, Andy, I'm with you on this whole fall thing. This is hands down my favorite time of the year, this mid-October. It's perfect.
It's the best. It's the best. Hey, is Peacock with you? Is Peacock in it? Right? Peacock, Joy, Jessica Joy.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. You know what? I wasn't even thinking we should have had Peacock there and just had a 2-headed monster on the show, right? That's what we should have did.
I will absolutely let him know. And believe it or not, when we're backstage and not on stage, Peacock and I are watching the Pistons. Like, that guy is dedicated.
He's dedicated. Allie, right? Allie's there. Allie's there.
Allie is with us. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Give them all my love.
Excellent,
man. I will.
Well, listen, how's the show going down there, man? What's it like?
Man, it's wild. It's wild being on tour with Second City again. This is my second go around with Second City, and it's one of those things where like you don't realize the effect you have in the area that you're in until you walk out into the street and people are like, "Oh, hey, you did a good show." Like you see it at the bar and it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, the bar. No, that's fine. It's a bar. But literally yesterday, I was at Trader Joe's in a suburb that's about like 15, 20 minutes north of Cincinnati. And this guy just walked up to me at the register. He's like, stay right there. And I was like, okay, I'm checking out. I'm not going to go anywhere.
Man, you're in Cincinnati, Ohio, 2 days after the election. You're getting nervous.
Might be a little bit, but he hands me some flowers and he's like, hey, I went to your show last Friday and I thought you and the cast did really good and I want to buy you the flowers. He's an employee, by the way. The cashier was an employee, But he bought us flowers, and he's like, "Hey, you guys did such a great job, and I really appreciate it." And I was like, "Oh my God, thank you. What was your favorite sketch?" And he like started talking to me, and I was just like,
Awesome.
"Man, I never think about these things. I do the show, I leave the stage, you know, we go for a beer, we go watch a game somewhere, or we go back to our apartment. We don't really get to interact too often with people, especially when you're clear outside of the theater, like in a whole nother neighborhood. So that's been very humbling and very cool."
That's awesome, man. That's good to hear. And I'm sure you guys would sell out crowds every damn night down there, man. It's a popular show.
Listen, we're popular, I guess. Cincinnati, they have a lot of love for theater and they go. They've got subscription services. Like, I mean, in LA, you know, or New York, it's just kind of those things like you do it if you do it, but like they're diehard, get the subscriptions, like being a season ticket holder. Like they're in it. Whether
That's
you
great,
win
man.
the championship or you suck, they're coming. So that's been cool.
Awesome, man. It's awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys are kicking some ass down there. I know I'm familiar with a lot of the sketches that you guys are doing down there. Andy, probably more so than I even. So I know there's some good stuff going on down there. If you're in the Cincinnati area, don't be an idiot. Get over to the Cincinnati Playhouse and see this show, man. Now, Halloween behind us. So I want to talk a little bit about this Tenants now. Now, give us a little synopsis of this thing, because I was looking through it and I was like, man, this thing is pretty crazy, man. Now, so what's the drop on this?
Tenants is an anthology. It's a horror anthology. It's got a few directors who are in it, who are directing different spots because it's an anthology. It's different storylines, but they're all connected. And my storyline is about a father and son. The father has a hard time letting go of things. I'm not going to give it all away, but he has a hard time letting go of things, and ultimately, you know, kind of becomes a hoarder. And I'm just trying to help him get through that. And there is a spirit that's in there that you should probably, you know, be mindful of. There's something to say about hoarders and spirits. That's all I can say about that.
And it's all these different stories that take place in this one like co-op building. I want to say apartment building. It's more like
it's an apartment building. It is an apartment building,
right.
But it's all connected. That's the beauty of this story, is like, even though they're very different stories, it's still all connected. There's still a singular through line that you're not like sitting there going, oh, well, I'm just watching, you know, 6 or 7 different little short films. No, it's all one feature connected. It just happens to be an anthology.
It's cool, man. I got to tell you, I always enjoy films like that around like Halloween, like horror style films that are done that way, just because of where the horror genre has gone. Well, it's coming back a little bit, but for a while there, it was just nothing but like the craziest slashers, most this crazy, disgusting, and like that's not scary. I like it when they bust it up into the little snippets and then leave you hanging and then give you a new aspect.
You like the jump cuts?
Yeah, man. I like a story like this where it's about 7 or 8 many different little horror stories that all tie together. I just find it a lot more interesting.
And it's also it's slightly realistic in a way if you believe in certain things. I think that's the joy of horror for me, is like, I was never really scared with demons and like, you know, goblins and stuff like that. I'm like, I ain't seen it. I'm not worried about that. But those killers, those things are real. Those are the horror movies that I really love, right? And the supernatural, there has been a couple of moments where I'm like, what just happened here? I can't really explain it. The supernatural stuff will get to me. But like when you got like, you know, killer clowns from outer space, that was fun to watch. That was a good time.
Right.
It was fun to watch. But like, listen, you give me like some Michael Myers, like some real stuff that could possibly happen. I think that's where horrors make their money, and I think that's why they're still holding strong today. Is because people like to be scared a little bit.
People love it. People love the genre, man. There's no doubt about that. Now, Christmas around the corner. What are you usually doing for Christmas, buddy? What's your routine on that?
I might be here, sadly, brother.
Oh, okay.
If they extend us, the show's going really well. If we get extended, we're here until January 5th. So right now it's looking like I would be leaving 3 days before Christmas. So my tentative departure date is the 22nd. But if things keep going the way they're going, we'll be here till January 5th, and I'll be spending New Year's in Cincinnati, which means flying my wife back out here again.
Yeah, but Merry Christmas on that, man. That'll be a good time. That'd be a good time, man.
They show up. They show up and they show out. Listen, I've never had Skyline Chili. That's still on my to-do list, but I've had some of the other stuff, and the donut game out here is pretty solid. I'll give Cincinnati credit.
Nice.
Oh, yeah? They got a good spot near the theater or what?
They got a couple of spots. Listen, downtown Cincinnati is beautiful. It's called the OTR. It's over the Rhine. It's a little dicey depending on which way you're going, but for the most part, OTR is a pretty cool spot. I would definitely recommend it if you're in the Natty. It's right next to the stadium. That's also been pretty cool. And, you know, the Bengals are right. I can see the Bengals from the Playhouse. Like, they are literally where the Playhouse is. It sits on top of a mountain and overlooks into the city. So, yeah, you can see everything.
Okay, cool.
Like a mile and a half away.
we were just not too far from the area last weekend. We went and saw my son's game at Marshall, and that's like right on the border there. All those little cities are not far away. So, but it was fun. Good time. We're going to get to that later on the ULM report. But now, before we get into some of these segments, I know you're dying to jump into quick hits and knock it off with us and stuff here. Andy's chomping at the bit. He loves knock it off. But before we get to that, guys, we got to pay a few bills. And you're familiar, Acquah. You are familiar with Gordon Butterfield, who's a friend of the show, minor league baseball Hall of Fame announcer who does the advertising for us. Well, he's got his spot ready this week on What Just Happened.
What just happened? Brought to you by the Sports Authority. At the Sports Authority, you can gear up to look just like a pro, from little tacks to full-grown adults. But they can't help you play like one if you're not any good. So don't suck. That's the Sports Authority, a Chapter 11 company. Premier League's Carlos Del Faciano has set up his brand new Sports Authority practice net, but his son wants to be the goalie and life lessons. The striker has struck. Oh my, that was intentional. Nice try, Carlos, but there's no secret here. Nobody wants their kid to be the goalie. And it appears this father knows his son, as we take a closer look at young Tito's reaction time. There appears to be a delay in the matrix. That boy's as quick as customer service. And that's how you catch a nickname. Nice job, Ricochet. What just happened?
Oh, that's Gordon just for you. I know you're a big soccer fan, Acquah. I know you would appreciate Carlos Del Faciano kicking his kid in the face with that ball, man.
Got some questions. So it starts out as kind of a commercial for Sports Authority, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of like it. And then he turns on him, Sports Authority, immediately. He was like,
Chapter 11?
Just turns on him. And then we just watched that kid get pelted like 10 times.
That's great. It's great,
Everything
man.
you wanted. Everything you wanted, Andy.
Now, I'm checked in with Carlos, and he says to this day they still call his son Ricochet. That's still his nickname. So I don't know. That's what Gordon. It's Gordon doing his thing on that, man. I do love how that. Listen, I'm not going to say there is or was, maybe was or wasn't some kind of issue with the check from Sports Authority, but that may be why they got exposed as the Chapter 11 company before we played the ad there, guys. So anyways, let's get into some quick hits, guys. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen this if you weren't watching it live, but we're going to play a few clips here of this Saquon Barkley play from the weekend.
Oh, my God. It was beautiful.
Just look at this damn thing.
Now locates Barkley out of the backfield. Barkley slips 2 tackles and picks up the first down, jumping up in the air.
I mean, that thing was crazy. It's crazy, right? I mean, I got another angle of it here. And now, before we watch this angle, I want you to pay close attention to the guy who's trying to tackle him when he does the backwards jump. First of all, the backwards jump, when this is broken down slow motion, you're going to see here, like Saquon does it intentionally. He did not need to turn around backwards. Watch the slow motion. He could have just started running. He intentionally turns himself backwards to jump. Why? I don't know. But the tackler, watch him closely here as he looks just like a dog being lowered into water and their legs just immediately start doing the thing that they're supposed to do. This guy's arms just start to go right for a tackle, and there's nobody even there. It's hilarious. Watch this.
So Saquon makes Tyson Campbell miss. He makes Devin Lloyd miss on the spin on 3rd and 6 on the check down. And here comes the rookie, Jerry Jones.
Here we go.
And Saquon goes matrix on him. He goes up
arms.
and over backwards.
He's already tackling nothing.
Jerry Jones thinks he's got something of Saquon. How high is he in the air? Is he 5 feet in the air right there? Like he's a trapeze artist right there. Like, and he comes down for a 14-yard gain.
Crazy.
Oh.
Crazy.
Amazing. It's the greatest hurdle of a player ever. It's incredible.
It's the greatest.
That's going to go in the Hall of Fame. It's got to.
Listen, and nothing will put it into perspective more than this next shot is a sideline view of the pros that see this stuff all the time, and they're impressed and stuff. But watch big fella at the end. Watch his face. It just tells the whole story. There we go. All right. Here it comes. He's about to make the jump. Watch big 90 right here. Watch his. Everybody's cheering, and he's like, no, nuh-uh, man, no. It's crazy.
You know what that is. That man has to retire. He was a rookie, and it's like your career is over. You got to quit. You can't come back from that. First of all, your defensive player, your head is down. You're not even eyes up for contact. He'd already put his head down, started to wrap up because he's just like, Saquon's not going anywhere, and I got him. And Saquon's like, rookie. Okay, watch what I do.
mean,
let me just levitate.
Guys, is this the equivalence of getting posterized in basketball? The leap?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
And is getting jumped over backwards the equivalent of being posterized with balls in your face?
I was thinking Blake Griffin. I was literally Blake.
This is crazy.
Wait, who was the guy that he teabagged?
I can't remember.
Dudes.
But we all know that moment because Blake just went over and then with the other hand just said, taste me. Just go ahead.
Was this bad? Just like in bad taste for sure. Now, everybody's been trying to nickname this thing. I wanted to ask you guys, Andy, what are some of the ones that you've heard?
I actually haven't heard any nickname, but I would love to try to throw one on there. Like I want to talk about the Barkley Bound.
Okay,
Maybe.
Barkley Bound. We've heard reverse hurdle is what they just keep calling it, which is not very clever.
Yeah.
I did hear one that was crouching tiger, hidden Saquon. I was like, okay, that's not a bad
one. Can I call it Fly Eagle Fly?
Oh, Fly Eagle Fly
Eagle
in
Fly.
Reverse, maybe. Yeah. Be kind, rewind or something like that. I don't know, man. Here's one that I like that I came up with. I think we should be calling it Cirque de Soleil. I think that's what we should be calling it. That's Cirque de Soleil.
I like
the good
that.
thing is you'll always be able to you remember that Saquon play? And you can say that in 10 years. You'll be like, oh God.
Yeah. That'll be it. And I will ask Giants fans always that question. How are the Giants doing this year, man? How about that Saquon play?
I'm nervous for the kids at home that are going to try that because someone's going to try it and they're going to get their back blown out because the next defender's going to be like, no, my head's up. My head's up. Man. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, no. Man. If I'm coaching any kids I see trying that, I'm like, look, you can try that when you can squat 895 pounds. All right.
Bingo.
That's a rule. Bingo. This is going to be a rule on the team, man. But kudos. One of the best plays we've seen in a long time. All right, here's another story. This isn't a terribly new story, but it's always way under the headlines. Now, this Jason Brown is a former Rams. He played for the Rams in the NFL, and he left the NFL at 29 years old and left $36 million on the table here. I'll let the picture show the deal here. Let's see if we can. Is this going to come up? There we go. Brown, former NFL player, made headlines by walking away from $37.5 million contract at 29 years old after earning $25 million. He bought a 1,000-acre farm in North Carolina despite having never been a farmer before, learned everything on YouTube and all that. And he's now started this company, First Fruits, and he's grown sweet potatoes and crop. He has committed and donated over 1 million pounds of food to local pantries and all. I mean, like, this is what this guy's doing with his life and his money now, man. Like, kudos, tip of the cap to this guy. Can you relate at all to this, Andy, another athlete that maybe did something like this other than Pat Tillman?
It's funny. I just read that ESPN had a big Pat Tillman story yesterday or a couple days ago.
I just
read that whole article. I was waiting for my car, so I had some time. And that article is incredible. I have top of my head an athlete who's, I'm sure they're, like Bill Bradley was a pretty good senator, right? Like, a great NBA player. I will say, reading that story, my wife and I went to North Carolina in April to see some friends. And we were there for about a week. And I have to admit, when we got there after about 3 days, because it was April, it wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold, it was kind of perfect North Carolina weather. After about 3 days, we're like, because our friends own this farm, and it's a huge farm, and they built their own house there. And it's actually incredible. And we were like, maybe we should move to North Carolina and do this. So I get what his thought process was, ultimately.
Yeah, what's his name? The writer that Pete's his name has escaped me right now. Eastbound and Down.
Danny McBride.
Danny McBride. Him and all his buddies from that crew. They bought up like a little neighborhood in North Carolina, and they all lived there and raised their kids there and worked from there. Right. I'm like, that's pretty damn great.
Yeah, they're in one of the Carolinas for sure.
Oh, you're right. It might be South Carolina. Yeah. But amazing though. This guy turns his money into this thing and now he's just giving to beyond his own community. I mean, tip of the cap to this guy. We need more people like this in the world. I will, however, point out, if this was his goal, when he got that first 25 million. He's only 29. Little selfish to leave the other 35 on the table. Could have helped more people. Could have helped a lot more people. A little selfish, I'm going to say.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
I don't know.
I'm sure his body's happy. I'm pretty sure his body's happy, especially if he's playing O-line, D-line. He's one of the grunts down there. Nah, he's happy.
Probably. All right, guys. Alexander Ovechkin chasing greatness this year. Is he going to catch Wayne Gretzky? Do you guys think that Alex Ovechkin will break Gretzky's goal record this season? Now, I'll give you the stats if you're not up to it right now. All-time goal leader, Wayne Gretzky, that they thought would never, ever be touched. 894 total. Right now, Ovechkin has 860. So he needs 34 goals this season to pass it. He's 39 years old. Now, 3 years ago, he had 36 goals. 3 years ago, he had 50 goals at age 36. So just 3 seasons ago, he had 50 goals season. Now, last year he had 31, and already this year through the first 12 games, guys, he's already got 8 goals. 34 to go. He's already got 8 goals this season. I mean, is he going to break this record this year, Andy?
No, he's too old.
No,
he's going to get hurt. He's not gonna play. Like, you're just assuming health, right? Like, at 39, there's too many, little injuries that pop up. I think if anything, I think he'll break it next year. He's going to play one more year. He's going to play definitely to get the record. So he's going to play into his 40s. It'll be next year, but not this year. No.
Now, what do you think, Acquah?
I mean, I love Ovi. I have not watched much hockey over the past couple of years, so I'm just going to say, yeah, just do it this year for the old guys.
Yeah.
Do it. Get it done before you're 40 and then retire.
A lot of people don't know what a sports octopus Acquah is. He's got tentacles everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, so he went to Nebraska, so he's a Cornhusker, right? But born in Virginia, D.C., so big Nats fan, big Ovechkin fan, love the Capitals, but grew up, born and raised in Miami, so big U fan, big Dolphins fan. You know what they call a sports octopus, man.
I like that. I'll take that.
Bigamist. Sports bigamist? Is it a bigamist? He's got a lot of love.
Oh, that might be.
I think the thing about it is like people used to give me a lot of crap when I was in college. You're like, a lot of people don't grow up in several different cities. So like, no, you're only allowed like one team. I was like, my team suck. Like if I was like loving the Yankees and rooting for the Patriots and die hard, USC, sure, give me crap. But all my teams growing up sucked. Like this has just been my life. And now we're kind of teetering out to be good. I'm just like, oh, okay, this is nice. Finally.
Yeah. Every time you move, there's a different team there that's better than the team you left. And now you got all these tentacles everywhere. Well, I'm going to say this about Ovechkin. I think he breaks it this year. For sure. He's been getting more than 30 goals. He had some injuries last year, Andy, that he fought through, missed some time and stuff, but he hit 31 goals last year, something like that. He's got 34 to go. He's already off to a hot start, which says to me, he's chasing this thing hard before he's going to get hurt. I'm going to make a bold statement here. I don't think if he beats Gretzky, he's going to get to 1,000. It's 894. So he's going to be the first guy to ever go over 1,000. I'm going to make a bold prediction here and say, I think Ovechkin gets to 1,100 and no one ever touches it. I think he plays till he's 43, 44 like Yager and keeps racking up 20, 20, 20. I'm going to say, I think he gets close to 1,100 before he hangs him up.
Wow.
You think that's crazy?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're saying 43, he's 39. If you average 30 a year, that's another 4 years. That's 120. And he's at 820. That's 940.
He's at 860 right now.
Okay. Another 120 is 980. So you're saying on top of that, another 120 goals. So he's got to raise it up. He's really got to average about 40 to 45 a year to get there.
Yeah. Maybe that's a little too many.
Yeah, but he'll break it this year, but 1,000. Oof.
He'll get over 1,050. Then we'll say. I'm going to say over 1,000. I think he still keeps playing and keeps having 25, 30 goals.
I think
for another couple years.
40, but he's got to average 40 a year to get to like 1050.
Yeah, for 4 more seasons.
He's got to average at 45.
Yeah, he ain't going to average 40. I'll change it.
That's 180.
You're right. I'll change it to 1,050. I think he's going to get to 1,000.
But that's what I'm saying, though. He's still got to average 45 a year to get to 1,050.
That's a LeBron like
career.
No, you'll need like 110 more.
No, he's at 860. He's at
110.
100.
Oh no, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
math is. Did they teach
You're
math
right.
in Detroit?
You're right. No,
Yeah.
they do not.
Oh,
I was like,
I'm going. Hey,
that's
I'm going
crazy.
on feel here. He's going to be well over 1,000. I'm going to stick with 1,050. I think he's going to get to 1,050. I'm going to stick
so
to it.
many.
I hope he does.
So many.
Somebody will break 1,000, but it'll be that kid straight out of high school who just goes on a tear for 15 years straight, and at that point, it's just second hand to him. Like all he does is eat, sleep, and score. I think 1,000 could definitely happen. I don't know if Obi pulls it off.
I don't
He
know,
breaks the
man.
record.
1,000 is nuts. 1,000 goals in an NHL career is nuts. You've got to come in at 17 years old and play deep into your 40s. I mean, well, not deep, but you've got to go into your 40s. And that does not happen often with a guy who scores like Ovechkin or Gretzky. I mean, those are generational guys. This isn't like a LeBron thing where the NBA has shifted and evolved and now it's all offense and that's all you do. So the points rack up way quicker. You know what I mean? Like,
But he can get to 1,000. He plays those like 43, 44, 45. Like he can get there for sure.
he could get to 1,000 this year. I mean, he's one 50-goal season away from being the all-time 50-goal scorer.
He can't get to 1,000 this year. He'd have to score 100.
No. 900. 900.
You just said.
I did. That was a slip.
It's impossible.
I was going to let it ride.
That was a slip of the tongue because we were talking in thousands. I'm saying 900. He's going to get to 900 this year. He's going to have 40 goals.
I don't think he will. He could.
I think he's
going to.
I think he's going to. I think
we're going to have to come back to this.
Andy, you got to
listen,
like 1,000
just
cupcakes.
2 years ago, the guy had 50 goals, man. He's timeless.
We got to come back to this in 2 months and see where we're on 1,000 watch for the year. He's got 140 to go. 140 to go.
All right. We'll be on the 1,000 watch. We'll be on the 1,000.
I like that. Keep me updated on the 1,000 watch.
We'll be on the 1,000 watch for sure. But hey, that's gonna give us a good segue into our first topic and knock it off.
All right, everyone, time to do me a favor and knock it off.
All right, let's debate.
It's knock it off. Your math hockey skills.
Oh yeah. You got to knock it off. I forgot to carry the 1. I meant 1,000. I didn't mean 1,100. I meant 1,000. I think he can get to 1,000 goals. I misspoke on that, guys. But you know what? I'm going to eat it. I said the wrong damn thing. You got me. You got me. I'll never hear the end of it now. But hey, deserved. I did it to myself. Anyway, let's talk about this for a little bit here. Now, this is LeBron versus Luka after 370 games. So listen, Luka already 400 more points, 600 or 700 more rebounds, 500 or 600 more assists, better field goal percentage, better free throws, better on everything, more numbers, higher numbers on everything. The argument out there that everybody's having is, will Luka break LeBron's scoring record after LeBron leaves? Because he is ahead of pace on it. What do you think, Acquah? What do you think?
I don't see it. I just don't. I think LeBron's numbers are going to stand for a while. I think Luka came in the league a little too late to catch him. I think he's had a great 370. He's a big guy. I hate to say it, but LeBron spends $1 million on his body and it's paid off. Every time I look at Luka, I'm like, how is this guy in the NBA? I mean, he just doesn't look like a specimen or like he even cares. He'd much rather be riding a horse. I think he's a phenom. I think he's great, but I don't see it. I just don't see that kind of dedication where I don't even think he wants it. I don't even think he cares. So no,
he came in early though, like 19 though, right? I mean, he came in just about the same as LeBron. So age-wise,
maybe a year later than LeBron, but
ultimately like 19.
I'm going to say no, mainly because one, LeBron's a genetic freak, right? Like LeBron is. Look, even if he's not one of the best 10 players in the NBA this year, and he probably isn't, he's probably one of the best 15 players in the NBA this year.
Yeah,
LeBron cares about his body. Luka doesn't care about his body. Luka plays his way into shape. This will only get worse as he gets older. I don't see Luka putting the hours and the time in at 35 like LeBron's doing at 40. So, look, he's going to guards tend to break down a little bit too, especially older guards. So, no, it's going to have to be somebody who comes in at who's religious about their body, religious like LeBron, 18
Brady type.
Yeah, that is how the record's going to get broken.
Yeah, if you, and then again, like we just talked about with Ovechkin and Gretzky, you not only have to come in that young, but you have to be a once in a generational type player. I'm gonna agree with you guys. I don't think he plays into his 40s. I don't think that he gets there to break this record either. And I listen, I'm not gonna be one of those people that dog him because he doesn't take care of his body the way LeBron does. 99.9% of the population doesn't do that. And if this guy's happy with being one of the greatest scorers of all time, but not the greatest, and then he wants to spend some time with his kids, good for him. I mean, that's great. I don't think he's going to do it either. I wish he would for one reason, because if he did hang around long enough to become the all-time scorer, then we could have the discussion with the LeBron people that, no, Luka's the GOAT. You told me LeBron's the GOAT because he scored the most points. That's what you told me. Mike, what Mike didn't matter, and his championships didn't matter. The championships don't matter. Whoever scored the most points is the greatest player. So, and then we can have that talk with the LeBron folks. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, if you want an NBA MVP ticket for this year, Luke is a very good one to have. And Tatum. I like those two.
Yeah, they're probably paying well too. Probably getting good odds on those right now too.
Yeah, you're gonna get 5-6-1, something like that. But just I like Luka, like has got a good shot, I think, this year.
All right. Well, maybe we'll get into some of that next week on All Right Bet. Let's talk about some NBA MVPs.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
All right, we're going to spend like 2 minutes on this because it's all it deserves. But the Australian breakdancer for the Olympics, Reagan, has announced her retirement from competitive breakdancing because of the backlash from the Olympics. She came out and said she doesn't even perform in competitions anymore or live at all because fear of someone taping it and putting it out there and blasting her again. And she's going to need to walk away from the sport that she loves, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't have to. She could just get better at it.
No, she cannot. I don't know if you watched the Olympics, Acquah.
I did. And that's just me poking the bear. I'm like, or you could try harder, like the rest of us when we suck at something, we just keep going at it.
Yeah.
You did this to yourself. I feel nothing for her.
And she really did do it to herself, because I don't know if you guys are familiar with the backstory on this, because a lot of people didn't bother to read about it, because why the fuck would you? But like when you watch that and she lost like 18 straight, didn't get 1 point throughout the whole competition. She was the worst. You saw the memes and all the shit. And then you're like, what is she? Was she clowning or something? Here's the quick backdrop on this story. Australia, when they found out breaking was going to be in the Olympics, they did not have a governing body for breaking to decide who they were going to send or whatever. So her and her husband put together this group that took this over, and then they controlled the competitions, and they didn't let like the best breakers in, and they picked who would be in the competition, and then they selected themselves to go to the Olympics, and that's what you got. And she wants us to feel sorry for her.
Yeah, I read that story and I was just like, this tracks. This totally makes sense.
Yeah. No, you're retiring. She's retiring from breakdancing for the same reason that I retired from Major League Baseball, because I was not good enough to play it.
Right.
I mean, like, fucking terrible, man.
The same reason I retired from like drinking till like 4 a.m. I just can't do it. I just can't do it anymore.
Just can't do it anymore.
Like it hurts too much the next day.
Yeah.
Like, like 12, 1 o'clock shows up. I'll be like, it's time for me to go. I got to go, guys. I got to go. It's 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
This is already too late.
You're right. But the equivalent there would be the buddy in your group who is always shit-faced drunk by 10 o'clock and can't speak and throws up on his shirt claiming, I'm not going to drink till 4 a.m. anymore, guys. I just can't do it anymore. You never could. What do you I mean, stop.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
Another bit of breaking news here for us, guys. Women's Professional Baseball League is set to launch in 2026 with 6 teams. Andy, what do you think about this march to innovation?
I mean, it'll be fun. Like I as a gentleman who has I have Clipper tickets, but I also have Sparks tickets. And I take my daughter, who's 5, and my wife, and we go to the game. And I found myself getting very much into the Sparks, and I do love basketball, so it's it is watching basketball, and it's different. I mean, I'm all for this. The women's league, like I already have a hard time. Baseball is such a regional sport, so I think it's going to be whatever 6 cities they're in. Maybe I would follow it. It's not like I'm going to follow and I don't live in Chicago. I'm not going to follow the Chicago Lady Bulls or whatever they are. I living in Los Angeles, maybe I'd follow the Los Angeles team. Maybe, but to me, it's regional. So
yeah, Acquah, what do you think? First you heard of this, huh?
Oh no, I've known about this one. I'm super stoked. So I play back in LA. I was on a co-ed fast pitch baseball team, and I put that in the chat as soon as I saw it. I don't remember where I saw that alert, but as soon as I saw it, I put it in the chat. And I was like, I'm buying a jersey. I don't care. I don't care if they're in LA.
Now this is fast pitch co-ed, like overhand hardball, or this is like softball fast pitch co-ed?
No, overhead hardball, and you got JUCO guys out there throwing. I mean, literally anybody can get on the mound. We were actually playing out in Burbank, and we have a World Series. We won the World Series 2 years ago. It's the LA Baseball Federation. It's a good time. If you're ever looking for some fun and you guys want to come in and just, get in on some games, we have some open practices and we have some open games that we usually do on a Sunday.
I would love it. I love baseball, man. I would love to jump in.
And we play. I'll send you some pics. We've got uniforms, like full on proper uniforms.
All right. Well, that may answer a few of the questions that I had, because I'm going to tell you right now, as an investor, no, thank you. No, thank you. I understand why they're starting this up. But let's be honest, why they're starting this up, because the WNBA has now caught fire. People who were laughed at as tax write-offs for owning those teams are now holding a valuable asset, right? Mm-hmm. So you're seeing all these little leagues popping up, these 3-on-3 basketball leagues. All these leagues are popping up because people want to be owners. You know what I mean? So I feel like this is trying to be on the coattails of WNBA. All right, let's get this women's baseball league going, and we'll get some owners and we'll own some teams. But there's a big problem here. Women have played college basketball and basketball for a long time, and before they made the WNBA, and then they made the WNBA, and that took 28 years before that caught on and started making a lot of money. I'm unfamiliar if they even play all women's baseball on an advanced level. They don't have it in high school. They don't have it in colleges. Where are they playing? I'm wondering, where did they get this picture? One more look at this picture. There's a USA women's national hardball team. I didn't like.
Wasn't there a softball? Wasn't there an Olympic softball team?
There's an Olympic softball team, but these are the baseball players. These are different uniforms. Like this is so I'm wondering, like, where did that even come from? And furthermore, I'm just going to make another small point that, like, the basketball, what was the big against the WNBA early on was like, well, they can't dunk and they can't jump and they're not as athletic as the men. Well, over time they've shown that, yeah, but playing good basketball is marketable, and they've gotten very good, made a lot of advancements. Yeah. How are you making the advancement to make baseball extremely exciting? And no disrespect to women, but with women playing, like, are you going to get home runs? You're going to get people smashing the ball out of the park. And I'm not saying these women couldn't hit the ball and hit it far for a home run, but you need to generate speed on the mound to generate these home runs. You need a 95-mile-an-hour fastball and a 104-mile-an-hour swing. And just genetically, I don't see this being something that's flashy and catches on. Am I piling on or no?
Well, I think, like I said, I think if you live in one of the cities, Mikey's phone, if you live in one of the cities, that the league's in, like, yeah, you might be fun. It might be fun to watch, right?
Sure.
I think it might be fun to go even. I think what you're saying, Mikey, is, maybe it's probably true, but I think we also all know sports and we know the situation, right? Like, scores 1-0 in the 8th inning, and there's a man on second and third, or a lady on second and third, 1 out. Like, I think those are it's the situations that will be exciting. Ultimately.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this will be a great inspirational thing for young girls. My wife being one of them, she played Division I softball, but like growing up, she played on all the boys' hardball teams because she was just that good and had a good arm. And she was like, but then it ends. Like, you don't get to do that anymore. Once you're in like 7th grade, they're like, no, you have to go play softball. So that just is my question, is where are they getting these people from? Now, I understand League of Their Own and that whole thing was big back then, but remember the context there was World War II. The men weren't playing, and they marched these ladies out there in dresses and stuff like that. I mean, it was what it was for the time, but there were some good baseball players in that. We did learn that through history. So this will be a great inspirational thing for young ladies, Andy. I'll agree with you 100%.
Gina Davis is a great baseball player.
She was good in the movie.
Right? Lori Metcalf, not Lori Metcalf. The girl, Tank Girl, was also pretty good. Gina Davis is
yeah. She played the little sister. Yeah. She played Kit.
Now, Madonna was
Lori
not
Petty.
Great.
Lori Petty.
No.
You know what I do? I stand corrected. I stand corrected on the home runs. That one girl in the gymnasium that was bombing the balls, and then
bombing them.
And then John goes, "Who?"
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
funny part of the movie.
I
Right?
love it.
That's
Yeah.
funny
If
part
they
of the
find a
movie.
good enough stadium, I think, and I mean, Andy's right, it is regional. If they get a good stadium and they're in a good city and it's priced out right, those
Right.
teams will thrive and the
Yeah.
league will be just fine. I mean, I forget the name of the newest league that popped up like last year, but it's like, I don't know if it's like women owned, but like it's women controlled and the girls get to draft who's going to be on their softball team. Have you guys seen that? It's been playing on like
No,
ESPN or
no.
maybe it was on Bally Sports. Like the girls get to draft their players every week or so, and every game that they win, they get a pot of money. So like that's the enticement to keep winning.
That's like how they do that European soccer at some levels, right? Like
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
similar.
European basketball. European basketball at
Yeah,
some levels, it's
but
if the more you win,
catching
you
fire.
share it for a salary. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's catching
right.
fire, and they've got a women's softball and it's a women's basketball. I'll send you the link, Mike, of who
Well,
it is, Mikey. But
I think you bring up a good point, though, Aqua, and then we'll get off of this thing. But I think you bring up a good point. Where's the women's professional softball league? That thing was extremely popular at the Olympics and stuff like that. Softball is extremely popular. College World Series on ESPN, extremely popular. Why aren't they putting money into a professional softball league for the girls?
Where they're gonna play, brother.
Women.
it's literally, unless Steve Ballmer's willing to open up his pockets and build a somewhat decent stadium in LA.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to be my knock it off. Why are we delving into a hardball fast pitch for these women when there's plenty of women that could really make a successful softball league professional?
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
All right, we're going to try not to get long-winded on this next one, guys, but we're probably going to, because here it is. The 12-team playoff. Here we go. Boise State, Ohio State, Indiana, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Penn State, man. Ooh, some sexy matchups in there that I could give a shit about at the end of the season. What are we doing? This is as stupid as the realists in all of us thought it would be.
You don't like it?
No, it's going to make money. It's going to achieve what they thought it was going to achieve, but this is dumb. These bottom realm games are going to be games. Let's be realistic here, and I'll let you guys jump in. The teams that are on that thing right now are not going to be the teams. We all know damn well they're going to put the first bunch out to keep everybody sucked in that we're doing this fair. When this thing comes out, there's going to be 3-loss SEC teams. There's going to be 3-loss Big Ten teams in this thing. And then you're just going to see a game you already saw earlier this year. You're going to see Tennessee, Bama. And I'm going to be like, why do I give a shit to hand these schools more money for a game I already saw, so that the winner can go get their head kicked in by Ohio State or Oregon or Georgia? I don't know. Anyway, jump in.
I don't think you're going to see any 3-loss teams. I can almost guarantee it. There's like 50 0 to 1-loss teams. So like, there's no way. Elimination, to me, I love it. The elimination week starts this week. Alabama, LSU, which a game we'll talk about. Elimination game. You know, a team like Acquah's team, the Miami Hurricanes, have played 0 ranked teams. They will play 0 ranked teams all year. So you talk about a team, in my opinion, that definitely should be looked at if they lose the ACC title game to get kicked out of the playoffs. I believe it's Miami. Do I think Miami will get kicked out, though, of the playoff, even if they lose? No. Do I think they should be considered to get kicked out for like a 2-loss Texas A&M team? Yeah, 100%. Texas A&M has went and played ranked teams. So, yes, their elimination games are starting, right? BYU, in my opinion, is going to lose this week. Alabama, LSU, it's an elimination game. There's more coming. Texas A&M, Texas, last game of the year. Very possibly an elimination game. Notre Dame loses 1 game, eliminated. So
well, you're kind of speaking to my point, though. If you're not in the SEC or the Big Ten, 1 loss, eliminated. Miami loses,
no, but that's
eliminated.
always been the way it is.
Eliminated.
It's AFC, but it's AFC, NFC, right? Like, it
well,
was
that's
never
what the
gonna be-
SEC and the Big Ten are. So let's just get where
Right.
we're trying to go. Let's just
But-
SEC
but-
champ, Big Ten champ, and be done with it.
But only
I mean-
4. But the 4 SEC teams, right? Let's talk about them. Georgia is in. One of the best
Maybe.
teams. Probably in, right? Unless they lose 2 more times, they're probably in. Then you're going to have Texas. Unless they lose 2 times, probably in, right? Tennessee, schedule so soft. They play Georgia. They lose that game. They're still probably in. And then you have, but their schedule's not any softer than Miami. Miami's schedule is a joke.
All right, Aqua, defend
To be
Miami.
fair, as a Hurricane, I have been saying publicly, I do not want to see us in the playoffs. We are going to get embarrassed. We haven't played anybody. I love Cam. I love what he does. I think he holds the ball too long. He's trying to do too much. I think the Heisman talk is starting to get a little bit in his ear. So I'm just like, there are a couple of times he should have checked down. He doesn't. He dances. I love us. I'm so happy that we're undefeated, but we are not there. We do not belong.
But they're going to get in. But my point is they're going to get in, right? And this is when the ACC takes 2 bids, right? If some other team wins the ACC, like a Clemson, who shouldn't be in the playoff, Miami's getting in. There's 2. That takes a bit away. All this stuff has to work out in the next few weeks. It's not just cut and dry at 5-5 and then a couple.
But it all has to work out for SEC and Big Ten teams. There's no other teams we're talking about it working out for.
But I predicted that at the beginning of the year. I said there is going to be 4 each way. And then but there's no name me a Big 12 team, in your opinion, name me 2 that deserve to be in.
Well, that's better.
There's not one.
That's my problem with this whole thing, though, Andy, is I'm saying what you're saying, just in a different way. They created this whole thing just so that more SEC and Big Ten teams could be in these playoffs. That's my issue.
Good football teams, but that's what good football.
That's my problem, is that we attack it from this point, like right now at this point in the season, we're attacking it from. Listen, don't talk to me about any other teams from any other conferences because they're not as good as a team from the SEC. Well, then what is the point? Like, how are we rewarding any of these other teams by giving them a shot to play for anything when we say in week 10, doesn't matter, Texas A&M lose 2 more times, they're still better than the Big 12 champ? Well, that's not the point of it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're saying we're having a playoff and we're including all the conferences, the point of it, then we knew that at the beginning of the season. Then just say, beginning of the season, these teams get automatic bids. I mean, like, that's all we're doing. We're creating more spots.
You don't want the MAC champion in the – I don't want the MAC champion. I don't
want
to see.
That's fine. That's fine.
Right?
That's fine.
If you're telling me in the 12, it's like Bowling Green is the 11th seed, and I'm like, you're telling me Texas is out so I can watch Bowling Green?
No, you're taking it to the extreme. You're taking it to the extreme. No, okay, I'm talking about the situations you laid out where like a 1-loss championship game loss Miami gets bounced for the 4th place SEC team. That's where I start going, no, they shouldn't.
They should. Miami hasn't played anybody. Miami's played Indiana. Let's use Miami, Indiana, right? Miami, Indiana. Everybody's talking about Indiana hasn't played anybody. Indiana they've never been behind, right? They've outscored their opponents by like 37, 36, 35 average. They do play Ohio State. Let's say they lose, probably. Let's say they lose by 20, 21. Do you put Indiana in at 1 loss over Miami at 1 loss?
Did Miami win the ACC?
No.
Okay, so we're saying 1-loss Indiana by 20 points to Ohio State, and tell me about this Miami loss.
They lose
to Clemson in the championship game by 10.
Yeah, by 10.
100% put Indiana in.
I think Miami's going in.
Yeah, because they're sexier and it's more money. This is my problem. That's my problem.
Well, and we lost by 10, not by 21.
Yeah, but Ohio State is clearly one of the top 3 teams in the country. They lost to Oregon because the guy slid too damn late, or they're undefeated and beat Oregon. I mean, this is where I'm just going to have a problem.
I like the 12. I want to see. I give me Indiana, Texas. Give me Miami. Whoever. Like, just give it to me. Give me the 12.
I'm telling you, I think I'm going back to what my perfect scenario would be on this, guys, but it's not as much money as 12 games we don't give a shit to watch. Just make it 6. The Power 4 champion is in, 1 at-large bid, and the 6th spot goes to the highest ranked champion from the group of 5. They get a shot. And that's it. There you go. You got to be a champion, or you're the 1 at-large bid, which let's say that is 1-loss Texas A&M this year or something. I don't know. It's a 1-loss SEC or Big Ten team. We know that. It'll probably be Ohio State in my scenario. It'll probably be Oregon's the champ. They're in. Ohio State 1 loss. They're the at-large team. And then Boise State gets a 6th spot. I think that we got a real champ.
It could be Georgia, right? Georgia. It could be Georgia.
Well, let me ask you one more question, guys. Would you be more inclined to watch in this 12-team playoff, let's say the seeding 9, 10, whatever, one of the bottom rung games winds up being a Tennessee Alabama rematch, or winds up being Tennessee Boise State or Alabama Boise State? Which one are you more inclined to be like, I want to be in front of the TV at 1 o'clock to watch this thing? for me, it would be the Boise State game. I don't give a shit about the other one.
I want to watch Alabama, Tennessee.
I
Personally,
would
Yeah,
be
I'd much
more
rather watch
inclined to
Alabama,
watch the
Tennessee.
upset. I want to
it's
see
not
the
an
upset.
upset. Boise State
not.
is good. It's not an upset. You just think Boise State's a Cinderella. They're not a Cinderella.
Yeah,
They're good. They're legit. It's a legit.
but that's
football.
kind of counter to what you were saying before. But you wouldn't put them in over a 2-loss SEC team, though.
I think Boise State has a legit chance if BYU loses to secure like a top 4 seed. That's what
I think if BYU runs the table undefeated and Boise ends the season as the champion, continuing to blow everybody out with the Heisman Trophy winner at running back, and their only losses in overtime to Oregon, and they don't get in because they're not in the SEC or the Big Ten, I think that's bullshit, man. One
They're gonna
loss.
Seen that before.
they're getting in.
You think they're going to put you think they're going to put BYU and Boise in this thing? You're crazy.
BYU's in the Big 12. What the fuck are you talking about? BYU wins the Big 12, and
They'll have to win the Big 12.
They will. And if they don't, the BYU gets like a 10-11 seed. Like,
okay,
whatever.
so if they don't, then where does that leave a team like Boise?
Boise State will get in.
They'll have to be the highest
They
ranked.
have to choose.
They'll have to be that.
And my point is, what I'm saying is, once BYU loses, Boise State has a shot at a top 4 seed, and they will move into the top 4 seed. They will, because then the Big 12 champion, assuming Miami wins out, assuming the SEC and the Big 10, the Big 12 champion could be Iowa State, who might have 2 or 3 losses. Then Iowa State gets in at like an 8, 9, 10, 11. BYU gets in at 8, 9, 10, 11. Boise State wins their conference, 1 loss to Oregon, moves up to 4.
I don't know if they'll do that. I don't know if
Why
they'll
not?
do that.
Why not? They can't choose. They won't choose any SEC or Big 10 team, and there's going to be 7 more, right? 6 more. They won't choose any one of those teams.
How many of these teams do you think are going to be Big 10 SEC? 7 at least. 7 or 8.
It depends on what they do with Indiana.
What are we doing? 8 teams.
We're putting the best football teams in the conference.
Just exclude everybody else then. Make it like play for your own championship, everybody else. Let's just have the Big 10 play the SEC, and that's the national championship, and then we'll have the college football championship with everybody else.
This is putting the best football teams in the tournament. This is what you do. These are the best football teams.
Listen, we will have this.
What do you want to see in there? You want to see Central Michigan?
You're taking it to the extreme.
Who gives a shit about
taking it to the extreme. I am saying the bottom, like 12, 11, and 10, you're going to have a SEC team that you're going to argue, well, they're 4th or 5th place in the SEC, but they're better than a team from that's the ones I'm talking about. I don't want to hear that. I don't care.
They are.
You don't know that. They didn't get a chance to play.
Yes, I do. I have eyes. I watch football.
These leagues are very top heavy, man.
Texas A&M. Here, my argument would be parity is important. Texas A&M is better than Michigan, so let's not put Michigan in. Texas A&M is better than Cincinnati, 100%. Texas A&M,
Cincinnati.
Well, tell me who you want in there over Texas A&M?
We'll see when we get to these final records and they put a 3-loss SEC team in, and then I'm going to be like, "Yep,
they already
I told
said
you."
They won't.
They said. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Knock it off. We got stretched out on this thing. Knock it off.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
All right, guys. We quickly have got to get to the Big 6 picks here. But before we do that, Acquah, you got to tell us really quickly. You're at the tailgate. You reach into the cooler. What are you grabbing a drink?
Ooh, a Rheingeist right now.
Okay, Rheingeist is your thing. But on this show, our thing is
Brass monkey, that monkey, brass monkey junkie.
That's right, baby. That's right. Brass Monkey made with the delicious Old English 800, the official beer choice of the DWMOD podcast. When you are tailgating, Acquah, get yourself an Old English. You can find it there in Cincinnati. I'm telling you that right now. Splash of orange juice and get.
While I'm
busy.
here, buddy, listen. When in Rome, drink what the Romans are drinking, and it's Rheingeist. That's the only reason why I said it. I'm in Cincinnati. It's a local beer. That's the only reason why I said it.
All right, guys. Well, okay, get yourself a Brass Monkey. Enjoy the football games this weekend, and we'll see who's heading into this 12-team playoff later on. Now, I'm going to fly through the ULM report because we are behind schedule. ULM report this week against Texas State. All right, we got Texas State visiting ULM for a home game this weekend. Last week, we went to Marshall, lost a close one, lost a tough one. Boys played well. Really good game. We got Texas State coming into town. We need one more win to be bowl eligible. One more win. The line on this thing was opened at 7. It is now up to 9. Texas State, a 9-point favorite, even though ULM just continues to be better than the teams they're playing. Listen, give me ULM. Give me the points right now. This is going to be a classic game of they want to try to score 100, and we don't. All right, so here's the key for ULM to win the game, and it's to get to 180 rushing yards, because Texas State's given up more than 140 a game, and when they gave up at least 185, they lose because they can't control the football, and that's what we do. One of the best backs in the conference, Hardy, we're rushing at a clip of about 170 a game. So if we do what we do, we control the clock, and we beat them just like we did James Madison. Guys, that's the quick version of the ULM report. We're rolling Warhawks this weekend. Warhawks! Ah! That was my bird.
They've been good, man. ULM's been kind of a nice surprise this year in college football.
They've been fun, man. They've been fun. We're going to win some money on them this weekend. +9. Take that, fellas. All right. Let's get into the Big 6 Picks, brought to you by the official beer choice of the DWMOD podcast, Old English 800. And here we go, fellas. Here we go. Let's jump into it. Acquah, game 1 on the docket this weekend is one of those games we're talking about. Is Bama -2.5 at LSU, Tiger Stadium on a Saturday night. The over-under 58.5. Who do you like?
I like LSU on this one.
Okay. All right.
I do. Simple.
You're going to take
I think they
LSU?
cover.
You're going to take LSU with the 2.5. And what do you think on the over-under? You think this game's going over 58.5 or under?
Honestly, I think this is one of those things where we're all going to be shocked, and it's going to be a shootout. It's going to go over.
Over. Okay. And the over. Andy, where are you on this, boy?
Elimination game, by the way.
Probably.
Team loses out because the team will have 3 losses. That is a beautiful elimination game. And look, think about Alabama. Only one team has scored on them in the first quarter, and that was Vanderbilt, right? So they come out. Bama comes out with a pretty good script on defense. And I think a great way to play this game, personally, is to wait till after the first quarter and then live bet LSU. Because I think Alabama's going to get up 7, 10. And I think Alabama and LSU at live bet's going to be like +10.
Great tip.
Especially if you like LSU. So I like LSU. I like the 3 or 2.5. I also like the under. I think, the thing is, I'm not sure if Milroe is super healthy. Both teams coming off a bye. Brian Kelly off a bye, pretty good. I like that. I think both teams know the importance of this game. If LSU can stop the big plays, that's really the issue. The other thing is Alabama is one of the top teams in the country in penalties. They're just going to do stupid shit to keep LSU alive. So the LSU, give me the under.
Yeah, I'm going to roll exactly the same as you, Andy, and Acquah, as you accept the over-under. I'm taking LSU in this one. Look, it's Tiger Stadium, Friday night, LSU. I'm taking them on the money line. I'm taking the home dog to a Bama team that's they're not world beaters this year, man, by any means, any stretch of the imagination. So, yeah, I'm going to be on LSU and the under as well. Let's jump to the next thing. Great tip, though, Andy, on the live bet after the first quarter. Jump on that, guys. Let's jump to the next game here. Georgia -2.5 to Ole Miss. The over-under here, 55.5. Andy, let you jump in first.
Look, this is, to me, a got-to-have a game for Ole Miss, right? Got to have it. If you want in, it's an elimination game for Ole Miss, right? Lose this game, they're out. They're out. Look, Lane's got, if you look at his injury, he's listed his injury on, I think he's just fucking around. He's got 30 dudes on there. There's no way Ole Miss has 30 dudes who are hurt.
Right.
And so, Georgia is not going to run. They can't run on Ole Miss. They cannot. They won't be. Etienne is going to go nowhere, right? I also think Beck has been much worse this year than last year. They have a harder time throwing downfield. They miss Lad McConkey. They miss Bowers. They're missing some of those guys. Yes, Georgia thumped Ole Miss last year 200-12, 100%. I'm just going to go with the team I think needs it, and I'm going to go with the team, the home dog. Give me the money line. Give me Ole Miss, and I have no clue on the over/under. I truly don't know. I want to say over, and I also want to say under. So would be a total guess for me. So I'm gonna lean under.
I'm going to take the under. Okay, listen. I think you're 100% right on running the football. Georgia's not going to be able to run the football they want. Ole Miss, #1 rush defense in the nation, and they're legit against the rush. Legit. This is a game where I don't disagree with anything that you said, Andy. Not one thing. I mean, I'm like, yeah, this is 100%. I will probably have some money line bets on Ole Miss in this thing. But here's the reality for this competition. And it comes down to one thing for me. The very next big game that Lane Kiffin wins will be his first.
Yeah, sure.
Will be his first. He has never, ever, what is he now, like 0-42 or something in big games? He's never won a big game, ever. So I'm going to roll with the dogs, man. Because it is now at 2.5. I'm going to roll with the dogs. I'm going to take the dogs, but I'm going to be on the under as well, because if you're going to take the dogs, you got to be on the under in this thing. So I'm going to take the dogs and be on the under. Acquah, what do you think?
I mean, I love everything Andy said, and I was going to take Ole Miss, and I was going to go with the under until you dropped that Lane Kiffin stat. I was like, he's got to be due. He's right. He's got to be due.
Hey, everybody's been thinking. Me and Andy have lost so much money in the last 4 years being like, this is the game. This is the game Lane's going to do it. You don't.
You know, and I also, Kirby, you got to love the guy. You really do. I'm going to go with the dogs. I hate it. I'm going to go with the dogs. Take the under. I mean, and I've watched them play since I'm living in Atlanta now, and I'm always unimpressed. I'm always like underwhelmed by their performance in every game that I'm forced to watch. I'm just like, this is this is the hype. This is what y'all be getting excited about. This is not a good team.
Be careful, man. You had your notes and your pick ready, and you let somebody talk you out of it. Now that's be careful.
Listen, and you know what? I was gonna stick with Ole Miss. I'm like, they gotta be due. But it's Lane Kiffin. At the end of the day, it's Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's going to get in his own way. So,
what were you saying, Andy?
I was going to say the other thing that for me, for pro Lane, and this is the time, is that Georgia thinks it's Georgia from my last few years, and they can just turn it on like they did to Texas, right? And I just don't think – I think this Georgia team's good. I just don't think it's the same team as the last few years. I don't think they can just turn it on this year. So I think Lane gets them, and I think Lane's going to get them. And when he gets up, Lane's going to put it on him. If he gets a chance, he will.
If he gets a chance, he will. I'll agree with you there. And you're right about the Georgia thing, the fan base and everything down here on the radio. All you hear is Beck, and they got to baby Beck, and they got to do all this. They got to try to coddle Beck, and they never had to do any of this with Stetson Bennett. They didn't have to do this with Stetson Bennett. And I'm like, oh, you mean the guy who had the greatest defense in the history of college football had a lot more confidence on the field than Beck did? I mean, I'm with you, man. I'm out.
I feel like Lane's going to get this one, but Lane's going to get it his own way at some point, and he's going to cost him the game.
Hey, if I eat it here, I'll be happy because I'm going to have some Ole Miss money line bets. All right, let's jump into the last game here. Colorado, the Buffaloes are at Texas Tech. Colorado's -4. The over-under here is 62.5. Texas Tech, a home dog. Guys, I'm going to let you know where I'm at first on this one, and I'm going to tell you I'm taking Texas Tech in the 4 points. Texas Tech, good football team this year offensively. They can score, and that's what the Buffaloes are going to try to do. It ain't like Colorado rolls in anywhere and beats them with defense. They got to try to outscore you. You want to get in a shootout? Texas Tech ain't the team that you're going to roll. I'm telling you that right now. I'll be taking Texas Tech and the over. Andy, what are you doing?
My advice on this game is do not bet it yet. Wait as long as you can. What time's tip off? I don't know what time these guys start kicking off.
This is a West Coast game, so probably later. Yeah,
one-ish. Wait till 12:30 because I believe Colorado is like a public team. So I believe money's going to come in on Colorado, and I believe that Colorado is going to get to 5.5, 5.5, 6.5, because everybody likes betting on Colorado. I'm going to take Texas Tech. So especially if you're taking Texas Tech, wait till the last possible minute. Look, I disagree. I kind of disagree a little bit. I think Colorado's defense is not bad. I think Colorado is a very put together team. One of those teams that has a true opportunity to kind of sneak in the back door of the playoffs. If every single thing breaks their way, they got to win the conference. They can do it. They need some losses, but I think this is kind of where the train gets derailed for Dion. So I'm gonna go with Texas Tech, and I'm gonna take the over.
Right.
I feel like Colorado just plays in overs.
Yeah. Acquah, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going with Texas Tech all the way. Take the over on that one. I always said the back half because my wife, she's a Buffalo. She die hard. She's from Colorado. Went to University of Colorado. So I can't stand them whenever we play Nebraska. That's a whole rivalry in my house. It's a house divided. But I always tell that back end of the season for them, there's a couple of trap games. You got to watch out for those trap games in college football. And this right here, with the swagger that they have, this is a trap game for me. So I'm like, nah, I'm taking Texas Tech, and I'm taking the points. Over.
Yep. I'm going to be rolling on this money line too. And Andy, again, great tip, man. Wait till right before this thing kicks off, because if this thing gets to 5.5, I'll bet you right. If this thing gets to 5.5, you'll be getting a text from me. I bought 1.5 or made it 7. If I can get to 7.5, I may make a heavy bet on this one. If I can get Texas Tech at 7.5, I may drop like $50 on this thing.
Well, I can promise you this in this game. It's not going to get to 3. It'll never get to 3. It'll never get to 3.5 because Colorado's a public team. Colorado, Dallas.
Yep.
Now the Lions, the Chiefs. It's like teams the public likes to bet on. So just wait.
Yep.
Wait. This thing's going to get to 5.5, 6.
Yep. Great tip, man. Let's jump to the NFL. We've got the 49ers. Apparently, we're being told return of Christian McCaffrey here, and Debo is going to be healthy. That's what we're being told. So we got the 49ers laying 6.5 to Tampa Bay, the over-under 50.5. Acquah, I'll let you jump first here.
If CMC comes back, you got to go with the Niners. But what CMC are we getting? We're not going to get, obviously, 100% 99 Madden rating, the guy who was doing all the impossible things. I'm taking the Bucs on this one. I'm going to go with the Bucs. Yeah. I think the Bucs are better than what people give them credit for. And they're at home. And they're tired of losing at home. I think there's a chip on their shoulders, and I think they would love to be like, you know what? We're not soft. We're not trash. We're actually better than what y'all give us credit for. Baker plays his ass off every time I've watched him. I mean, I say I'm calling for the upset. I'll take the Bucs on that one.
All right, over under, buddy, 50.5.
Let's go with let's take the under.
Under. Okay, under on that. Now, Andy, I know you disagree staunchly with Acquah if Tampa Bay is good or not. We hit this up on Wednesday nights. All right, bet a little bit.
Yeah. Those plays would not be on my card. I can promise you what Acquah's talking about. The other thing I would say is here's another tip. Coming off a bye, the Niners coming off a bye, they're going to try to get McCaffrey into the game. It's going to be slow going in the first half. Bet the Bucs first half. Just take the Bucs first half. It's going to be probably 4 plus 4 plus 3.5. So I see the Niners up by like a field goal, or maybe Tampa's tied. Just Bucs first half, right? That to me is a great bet. Niners are going to be working their way with McCaffrey into the game. By the time third quarter comes around, fourth quarter, McCaffrey is going to be, the goose will be loose at that point. So Bucs first half. Look, just the facts. The Niners are coming off a bye. Shanahan's a great coach. Tampa Bay is on a short week. That game went into overtime. And now they play 6 days later. No, thank you. Never, ever in the world am I betting a team on a short week that in a game that went to overtime versus the team that had an extra 7 days off. Look, this is why I like the Bucs first half. I like San Francisco. I think the game's going to be very similar to the Denver game, what we saw Bo Nix do, and when he comes into Tampa. Sometimes teams just are bad matchups, and this is one of those bad matchup teams for Tampa. So I think San Francisco turns around. I'm going to take the under, though. I'm going to take the under. It's too high, and I'm going to take San Francisco.
Okay, San Francisco on the under. I'm going to tell you guys, listeners, right now, everything Andy just told you, bet it the way he just told you. Bet it the way that he just told you. Those things are right. And that's why, but I'm going to have to tell you this. Sometimes I just got to check to the football player in me. And I'm watching these teams, and sometimes you just get a feel about certain teams and football and throw some stuff out the window. They are not going to be as rested as the Niners. They are not. But I like the way the Bucs are attacking the football season this year. I like the way that Baker Mayfield is playing. Sands losing his top guys. I get it. This is a long shot. I get it. But this is one of those games where I just feel that they're going to be able to play with San Francisco. And I know San Francisco's getting all their toys back and they're getting all their offense back. But their offense has not been the thing that has unimpressed me all year. It's this world-beating defense they're always supposed to have that they don't. They don't. Mm-hmm. And I think the Bucs can score some points on them. And I think this is a team where it's kind of a little bit them against the world. And it's a tough loss last week. And usually them against the world teams come off a tough loss with a bounce back. And I'm telling you, I'm going to be with you, man. I'm going to take the Bucs. And guys, I'm going to be on the over, though. I'm going to be on the over. I think both teams are going to trade scores here. I think the defenses get tired. I'm going to be on the Bucs. I'm going to be on the over.
Two things. Two things, just to combat what you guys, because I don't want these poor people throwing away their money following you guys.
I said bet like Andy.
So I just don't want these guys, like, people are going to be like, these guys told me. I'd be like, I did not tell you this.
Voice of reason.
It is a classic spot to fade Tampa. Classic spot. We just saw them play what a lot of people think is one of the best two teams in football. We just saw them take them to overtime. Everyone thinks Tampa can hang with the big boys. This is the spot. This is the spot where Tampa loses by about 17. Like, any team loses in this spot, right? This is the spot. The second point is their best wide receiver is a tight end named Cade Otton. He will be covered by Fred Warner. He will be forcing Baker to hit dudes named Jay McMillan and all these other trash wide receivers.
Sure.
And they're going to run, and they're not going to be able to run on San Francisco. They're not going to be able to do it. So just be wary when you're following Acquah and Mikey. And please hear me when I'm telling you. Please hear me.
I'm telling you, a disclaimer was laid. Bet like Andy just told you to bet.
Like Andy
I am
said.
taking a long shot on a football gut feel.
My gut
is right.
the same way, Mikey. Same way. The football player in me says no, they got this.
Yeah, we'll see.
Bet what Andy said.
It's probably the football player in us wants them to do it, and they're probably not going to. So that's probably the thing. You know, you get a little delusional when you check into your football self. No doubt. You're probably going to get that one, Andy. All right, let's jump to this next game. Steelers are +2.5 against Commanders, and this game is 44.5 is the over under here. Now this game is in Washington, right?
Yeah,
it is.
Yes. Okay, Acquah, let's jump to you. That's one of your teams there, the Commanders. What do you think?
I love our quarterback, love Daniels, love what he's doing. I want to go with him so bad. I really do. And then someone said a stat that broke my heart. Mike Tomlinson is like 26-1 against rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
And even better when he's the dog. But
it's like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. You know what? But hey, you know what? I respect Coach Tomlin. He's a hell of a guy. I've always loved him. I've always rooted for him. Everything he preaches, he does. I'm still taking DC. That's the fan in me. The fan in me is taking DC. And the fan in me is taking the over.
Oof. All right, man. All right, you're going double fandom there. They get deep tentacles on the sports octopus here because the Dolphins are our next game. So we got all your teams on here for you. Andy, where you at on this one?
You know, I love Tomlin as a dog.
Yeah.
I also argue that the Commanders have not played one good defense this year. You know, like everybody's telling me how awesome their offense is. And it is awesome. I'm not saying it's not awesome, but I'm going to rip through who they've played on defense. And just please stop me when you hear, and please don't stop me at the Cleveland Browns. Defense is horrible. It's not as good as it was. So here you go. Tampa Bay, the football Giants, Bengals, Arizona Cardinals, Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens, Carolina Panthers, Chicago Bears, New York Football Giants. The only decent defense they played is the Bears. And that score was 18-15. And they should have lost, right? They should have lost. So they have not seen a defense like this. I'm going to give Tomlin. I'm going to take Tomlin, and I'm going to take the under.
Yeah. Steelers and the under here. Listen, I'm going to be right with you. Steelers and under. We have a rule on this show, man. You do not bet against Tomlin as a dog. You just don't do it. Especially against a rookie quarterback, man. I'm going to be on Pittsburgh. Probably going to have them on quite a few teasers. You're going to give me Pittsburgh plus 10 points. You're 9.5, 10. Come on now. I'm going to be on the Steelers on that big time. That's a good tip for you guys this weekend. Take the Steelers teaser all weekend long. I'm going to be on the Steelers. I'm going to be on the under. Let's get us to our last game here. The Dolphins are +1 at the Los Angeles Rams. The over-under here is 50.5. I'll go first on this one, guys. I said it a couple of weeks ago, Andy, and I got to stick to my guns. I got to stick to my word. I told you the Rams were about to go on a run, and this is a part of the run. I'm going to take the Rams, laying the 1, and I'm going to take the under in this game just because the Dolphins' inability to score is going to have to do with Tua. So I can't be betting over like he's going to light it up and have this complete game. He's running around half scared. And the Rams have been doing just enough to win their football games with Matt Stafford in the fourth quarter. So I'm going to play another last-minute Rams drive to win the game. Give me the Rams and give me the under. What do you think, Acquah?
I hate to say this. I'm taking the Rams.
Oof.
I really want Tua to just take the money and go home, go to Hawaii, start a farm, get some coffee. I don't care what you do, play the
Start a
ukulele,
farm.
but for the
Yes,
love
they
of
do.
God, leave Miami alone. Mike McDaniels is going to lose his job because of Tua if he keeps holding on to this guy. And I really love Mike. That's been one of my favorite coaches we've had since Dan Campbell. So yeah, I'm going with the Rams. I don't see it. I'll take the under. We got to get rid of Tua. I wish him well. You know, give that man his golden key and send him on his way. Whatever it is that we get for retirement in this day and age, I don't know if it's a pen or the golden staple or whatever. I don't like it. I don't like it anymore as a fan. I hate it. I hate watching him
Nobody
play.
wants to watch that, man.
I'm angry that we didn't take Herbert when we had the chance in the draft. But, you know, whatever. I'll make my peace about that.
Well, it was a couple of guys on this show that were saying that very thing when that draft happened. A couple of the guys on this show were saying that very thing, but you know, didn't work out that way.
We took him. I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not big on drafting 5'9" quarterbacks anyway. But Andy, what do you think on this one, buddy?
So everybody's on the Rams, huh? Interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm gonna take
Don't you do it.
Don't you do it. That's that old bait and flop right there. He's like, I'm on the Rams, but get the Dolphins now. All right, take them.
I just think, like, here's the thing: Spider-Man meme teams, right? These teams are the same. You have two great wide receivers. You got Waddle and Hill. You got Nakua, and you got Cooper Kupp. You got great running backs, Kyron Williams, and you got a chain or whatever that guy's name is. He's awesome. You got two quarterbacks. They're kind of the similar version of each other. Only one's young and one's old, right? Like Tua is basically new Stafford, right? He's going to be fine. Get him in the right system. He'll put up points. Like he's fine. I would say the defense, Miami's defense is worse than the Rams. I like the rookies on the Rams a little more. And I like the Rams coach way more than I like Mike McDonald or whatever his name is.
You don't like Swaggy Mike?
No, I don't think he's a very good coach.
You don't like Cocaine Miami Mike?
Here's a guy who everyone knew 2 years ago, if Tua gets in a concussion, it's bad. And he's like, great, no worries. We got this quarterback. We'll find him. And they like, get a quarterback. Just get a backup quarterback. It's like rule number one for the Dolphins. You got to put some money into a backup quarterback. It's tanking your season, right? So look, I'm going with the more desperate team. To me, more desperate team theory. And I was saying earlier, with that Bengals loss last night, right? The Bengals are now 4-6. Jets win, they'll be 4-6. Let's assume the Broncos lose the Chiefs 5-5. That last playoff spot, the Dolphins win this week. They're 3-6. They can play one more game as these other teams. They can win to get 4-6. So the Dolphins aren't technically out of it for that last playoff spot. It's just, can they get to 9 wins? Can they get to 9 wins in the AFC? Gets that last playoff spot, in my opinion. To do that, they got to win this week. And I think that is where they're at. And so give me the Dolphins. And just for the shits of it, give me the over.
This man.
Over. Well, listen, you sound like it's 4 a.m. and you're still drinking. That's what I'm saying. That's what you sound like.
That is definitely at 4 a.m. But
you are right about one thing and wrong about another. I will say this. You are right. These are two Spider-Man teams pointing at each other, right? But the Rams are Peter Parker. And I'm just telling you that right now. And Stafford, the disrespect of like, well, Stafford's fine. He's going to be fine. He's all right. He's fine. Listen, he is so underrated. He's one of the greats, man. We have got to watch one of the greats.
I'm just saying current Stafford is basically Tua, right? He's just in the right system.
Boy, he better than that,
I don't know about that.
Well, I'm on team current Stafford is probably top 6 in the league, but
Tua's not that bad. The Dolphins, we just know the Dolphins without Tua, and they're horrible. You can put Tua in there. Shane is going to run all over the Rams. I just guarantee it. He's going to run all over them.
Yeah, he might. I'm just saying, you put Stafford on any contender right now, they're going to the playoffs and be scary. You put Tua on any contender right now, and you're going, maybe.
Stafford's not underthrowing his receivers like Tua is consistently done.
I'm a homer, man, but I love him.
I can't wait to bet on the Dolphins. I'll be on the money line. I'm going to be on a tease all day in the Dolphins. I can't wait.
Well, you might be. Well, listen, I'm a homer. I love Staff. I think he's going to pound them. He's going to pound them this weekend, man. But anyway,
the Rams don't pound teams.
I know. That's why I think this is going to be the week. And I'm laying 1 point. Let's be realistic. But I think the Rams will win the game on a fourth quarter drive because that's what Stafford does. That's what he does. Listen, Acquah, Thank you for being here, bro. I know you're busy
Thank
out
you,
there in
guys.
Cincinnati doing your thing. If you're in the Cincinnati area, get over there and check out Second City 65th anniversary show. I'm sure it's amazing. Say what's up to Peacock and the rest of the crew for us over there,
Will
my
do,
man.
brother.
We'll see you next time.
College football is now
B1G versus SEC. If you ain't listening to All Right Bet with me and Andy St. Clair, you're throwing away money. All Lions fans drinking that Kool-Aid. Super Bowl. Hey, disagree with me or don't. That's how it works.